All right. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for the Pando Days 24-25 Spring Team Project premieres. My name is Matthew Manos. I'm the head of a design firm here in Los Angeles called Very Nice, faculty at USC, and a longtime Pandomaniac. I'm your host today. Pando Days is the program that turns academic work into real-world solutions for impact in your community and world. All Pando Days premiere events follow a standard format. Each team is given 15 to 20 minutes to present summaries of their projects, and we follow that by about a half hour of Q&A from a panel of experts. These events are recorded, and then over the summer, the recordings, along with all the project materials, will be posted on each team's dedicated webpage, which you can find at pandopopulous.com. The projects are then judged by a distinguished panel of specialists with honors and prizes passed out, as well as networking opportunities galore happening at the Pando Sustainability Awards. So definitely stay tuned for details on that. Today we'll be hearing again from Los Angeles Trade Technical College. The project is led by Marcela Oliva and is called Housing the Gardener. It takes empty, ignored spaces across Los Angeles and imagines those spaces as opportunities for innovative housing and thriving community. That's an ambitious goal, but Marcela, if anyone can deliver on that, it's you and your team of students. So can't wait to hear more. The floor is yours to, I believe, premiere a video for us.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Pando, for creating this incredible opportunity and being such a catalytic of change.
Housing the Gardener. These projects brings housing and healing together through 3 urban interventions: a tiny house, a multi-unit dwelling, and an accessory dwelling unit, ADU. Each model is designed to be flexible, sustainable, and deeply connected to the community it serves. At the heart of these projects are customizable templates that invite community members to be co-designers. And it's just not about building homes. It's about empowering people to shape their own environments. The key word here is design. These housing solutions are also seeds, spaces where local food can be grown, neighbors can gather, and well-being can take root. How do we do this? We combine adaptable designs with Aura Platform, a digital tool that helps us place homes in the best possible locations by analyzing zoning, environmental factors, access, and urban constraints. Today, I'll explain our 3 housing templates and the innovative solutions behind each of one. But our focus will be on accessory dwelling unit. Let's begin with a tiny house. This design is guided by natural proportions and harmony, drawing from patterns found in nature, what people call nature-driven design. It is a net zero home built using sustainable materials, listed in the USGBC California Net Zero. The roof includes solar panels, a rainwater collection, and a roof deck designed to grow enough food for a family of 4. Large openings on opposite sides allow for cross-ventilation, keeping the space cool and comfortable without mechanical systems. What makes this solution powerful is the flexibility. As you'll see here, even a simple template can be customized from the materials to the layout, windows, doors, and the entire program to reflect the needs, culture, and preference of the resident. The multi-unit housing template is inspired by the 5 points of architecture by Le Corbusier, offering flexibility, natural light, and open space. The first floor serves as a dual purpose. It provides parking, but it also is designed as a community gathering space, a place for celebrations, quinceañeras, events, and neighborhood activities. A standout feature is the customizable back wall, which incorporates patterns and colors that reflect local culture and identity. We were honored to present this at the Masonry Summit, which was very well received. The structure adapts as families grow or change. The second and third floor can be easily rented out, making the home work for intergenerational living and supporting economic flexibility for residents at the top. The third floor included a roof garden and a rainwater collection system, creating a shared green space that brings sustainability and daily life for closer together. Here you can see how the diagrams represent different parts of the house and how these elements can be arranged in multiple ways, all based on the needs and preference of the client. For example, if you prefer the bedroom to face north or want your living spaces connected directly to the roof garden, the layout can be adjusted to support that vision. This is our accessory dwelling unit template. It includes a cooling tower, a roof garden that can grow food for a family of 4, a bedroom, and a living area with a kitchen, dining room, and living room. Water strategies and air circulations are central to the design. Natural ventilation, rainwater harvesting, and passive cooling systems are integrated to create a healthy, low-impact living environment, one that adapts to both climate and community.
So here with this template, and this is the whole idea of this proposal, is that we will have pre-approved templates, and then the community will be designing the doors, the windows, the furniture, and customize it for their own belief and system. That's why the word here is design. Now you're going to hear from each of the students. They all developed their own proposal.
Hi, my name is Kelly Sanchez. I am presenting my accessory dwelling unit, El Descanso, which translates to the resting place. When designing my ADU, I wanted it to reflect an oasis where our elderly family members could enjoy living close to their children and grandchildren while retaining their privacy and independence. When designing my floor plan, I wanted the circulation within the ADU to be free-flowing to avoid unnecessary turning and allow easy access to every room. The floor plan also features several large and wide windows to allow easy monitoring of elders when necessary. My favorite parts of the ADU are the multifunctional roofs. Roofs are often overlooked and not used to their maximum potential. The sloped roof not only enhances the building's visual interest, but also serves as an ingenious way to drain and collect water. The railed flat roof is a nice large open space that could hold a small sustainable garden and host outside family gatherings. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Layla Moore, and I designed La Casita del Sol. It's a pre-approved ADU inspired by Adobe-style homes in LA, but with a modern twist. The design includes curved walls, a central cooling tower, and sustainable materials like Adobe brick and lime plaster, which are both eco-friendly and beautiful. The cooling tower helps hot air escape in the summer, reducing the need for AC, and it's lined with glass blocks to bring natural light. Concrete floors add thermal mass, keeping the space warmer in the winter. There's also a rooftop level that works as a garden or a hangout spot. What I love most is how it reflects Chicano heritage and the spirit of Los Angeles. From the soft colors to the curves of the walls, it's a compact space that feels full of life and culture.
Hi, my name is Jack Robinson, and this is The Plateau, my sustainable, sun-loving ADU design. This space was designed with sustainability and outdoor living in mind. It features a large second-floor patio, perfect for soaking up the sun or growing your own food. My design uses cross-ventilation, solar panels, and tons of natural light. It's built to save energy, stay comfortable, and make the most of nature, as well as save yourself some money. The windows are oversized to let in as much light as possible, and the materials reflect the sleek, practical style of modern living. My favorite part? The second floor office, especially the ladder from the first floor bedroom that leads up to it. It's got a huge window that overlooks the patio, and it feels like a hidden escape. This is The Plateau, where my design meets daylight and everyday living feels elevated. Thank you.
1 or 2 ADU by Marina Henderson, a home with a choice and a soul. 1 or 2, the name says it all. 2 bedrooms together or a split overall. an upper, a lower, each their own view. This home adapts, expands, renews. Glass fills the frame, both near and far, from nano wall doors to clear story stars. Sunlight pours in, and with it, new life, feeding green walls and softening strife. Two grow walls rise, one up, one down. The lower holds more than just fertile ground. A stone therapy walk invites bare feet, a calming path where nurture and nature meet. Beside it, a lift, in openness placed, surrounded by glass, in beauty encased. It rises with light, with air, and with view, not just for function, it welcomes you. The walls do more than hold up the frame. They finish the inside and carry no shame. Insulated CMUs, strong and clean, efficient, elegant, a minimalist dream. But beyond all the specs, the numbers, the cost, is the heart of the home, never lost. It's made with peace, with love, and with grace. A small sacred rhythm in architectural space. One or two ADU, it's more than a plan. It's a quiet invitation to grow where you stand.
Hello, my name is Ruben Alvarado, and I will be introducing my project, Leafy Loft, a vision of sustainable living. I am thrilled to introduce Leafy Loft, a home designed to harmonize with nature while redefining modern comfort. At the heart of this project lies its breathtaking interior green space, a serene oasis that brings the beauty of the outdoors into the comfort of your home, creating a tranquil retreat for relaxation and inspiration. Leafy Loft is a masterpiece of sustainable design. Its thoughtfully sloped roof faces east, capturing the morning sun to harness solar energy efficiently, powering the home with renewable brilliance. The innovative rooftop and central opening work in tandem to collect rainwater, nourishing vibrant outdoor gardens while conserving precious resources. The entrance tower is a standout feature, engineered for passive cooling. As cool air flows through the open spaces, hot air naturally rises and escapes through the tower's apex, ensuring a refreshing and energy-efficient indoor climate. Leafy Loft isn't just a home. It's a lifestyle that blends eco-conscious innovation with the joy of living surrounded by nature. Welcome to a greener, more inspired way of life.
Hello, my name is Sean Godoy. This is my second semester here at LATTC. My final project for this class was constructing an ADU, which is an accessory dwelling unit. This was a fun and memorable experience. I enjoyed constructing something that is both beneficial for living and supporting families through the help of LATTC and its professors. I enjoyed designing the interiors and exteriors of this accessory dwelling unit, as it gave me the freedom of design and hands-on involvement while being able to see my visions come to life.
Hello, my name is Lumen DeGale, and I'm a second-year student here in the LATTC's architecture program. We need to address the rising homelessness crisis here in LA. Feeling inspired by pioneer Paul Williams' efforts to defend against homelessness, I began to explore design solutions to improve our situation. The name of my project is Cooling Castle, a sustainable and modular ADU building designed with your comfort and wallet in mind. The building encourages a cohesive relationship amongst its tenants by implementing things like an open kitchen/bar area and gracious window-side seating. Some sustainability features include rooftop green areas for gardening, as well as a large wind tower for a passive cooling effect.
This is my ADU project for ARC 173, which I've titled Natural Language. My favorite part of the design process was learning how to match different textures and experimenting with various layout options for the ADU. A sustainable feature in my design is the use of slanted roofs. They help with both sun protection and rainwater management. Additionally, the walls are designed to double as vertical trellises and support plant growth and enhancing the green space.
Hello, my name is Carrie McKenney, and this is my project for ARC 173 Spring 2025 at LATTC. Here you can see a little walkthrough of my ADU. The corridor has a skylight leading into a room with an abundance of windows and natural light. It was important to add lots of windows and to make sure it would also fit within the perimeters of the site given. The focus of this project was to create a party out of specific dimensions given, then create a 3D model ADU in Revit. This included a wind tower to help with airflow or just give identity. They featured a flat roof over a portion to add functions such as family communal events or a rooftop garden. And we added masonry on portions as well to get familiar with materials. My favorite part of my ADU is that the brick wall extends through the middle of my house, making it more interesting and adding a depth of character. In this class, we deepened our knowledge and skills regarding elevations, construction documents, design documents, and materials. I hope you enjoyed my ADU.
And here's another proposal by another student. And I think that what I would like you to see is just the wealth of opportunities. Once you have a template, I mean, the crisis of housing, this could really be a methodology that very quickly you can pre-approve 50% and still customize it based on the client's needs, decisions, culture, and all of these materials are part of the sustainability catalog. And just to see the growth that this kind of methodology could help in our neighborhood, I hope that's what we're trying to share with you guys today.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Marcella and team. It's a beautiful example of a very cohesive vision for a system, but then that system is modular and it's customizable, and your students proved that in how different all of these different takes are on the same vision, same system as well. So really love seeing that. We want to hear from our panel now, though. We've got about a half hour for an informal back and forth discussion about the project. How might we assess it? Where do you think it could go to impact the community most now, etc. And we've got two respondents with us today, Jerome Champion and John Yang. Jerome is a board member at the Vermont Slauson Economic Development Corporation and is the former multifamily housing director at the Los Angeles field office of the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development. He's an expert in finance, insurance, and real estate. He also serves as an adjunct faculty of Los Angeles Trade Tech and was formerly part of the adjunct faculty at Keller Graduate School of Management, National University, and the UCLA Extension Program. And then John is the general manager at Rental Housing Deals, which helps individuals and families find the best rental housing deals. It maintains one of the most up-to-date databases for affordably priced rental listings with valuable resources and information about government subsidized housing and how to apply for rental assistance. So thank you so much, Jerome and John, for joining us. Why don't we, John, start with you with some initial reactions, responses to what you were able to see. Again, this can be a pretty open dialogue, and then we'll go over to Jerome for some thoughts.
Great. Well, thank you for inviting me, and Marcella, great job with your students. They really, shined with their work. I really like the project, especially with the housing crisis in Los Angeles, where we have a lot of ranch-style homes out in the valley, and we have some urban areas. But more and more, like where I live, the San Gabriel Valley, we're seeing a lot of ADU build-ups and a lot of prefab as well. So this could really tie up with a lot of, partner up with a lot of fabricated housing systems to make it easier to be built and placed. Um, and I can see this in rural areas too, where housing uh, is also a need because you have a lot of older homes that needs to be rebuilt or rehabbed. Instead of doing that, put these types of ADU, make it quicker, faster, especially when it's budget conscious and a lot of people don't want to invest heavily in rural areas. This could be another solution for that type of housing. Um, so yeah, I think there's so many opportunities, especially the material. I, I like the way you don't need electricity. I mean, not electricity, but the cooling. That's a plus. Um, and with solar, there's so much going on with rechargeable battery that it could help sustain a family of four. And I like the uh, planning of the food. That's great. That's a great idea. Um, and I love the open space to for family and friends to gather because not only in your house but you can be outside as well, and not necessarily for places that don't have a yard. The upstairs is a great way to for friends and family to gather. Um, yeah, and the modern look to it, it's awesome. You can do so many ways. I like the Adobe style, um, with that material, the cooling effect of it. Um, yeah, maybe next step would be partner up with some fabrication company that could, that would take an interest in this and see where it goes.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Marcella, team, do you want to respond to any of that?
Yes, a very good comment. And I think it's modular and it's personal. People can personalize it. You can make it look Egyptian. You can make it look mission style. You can make it look neoclassical. So I think is allowing the user to design the program and also design the look, but also make it very quickly because the skeleton is the same. So I think I really think it's a new methodology that I haven't seen before, because no matter what style you like, I think you will be able to find something that fits your needs. And the cooling tower, thank you for mentioning that out. The cooling tower is very important. It can cool it down. That's why it's a prime. We did a lot of research in the community and people didn't know where the entry is. So the cooling towers acts as an identity, but also acts as a way to cool down the space. And then the roof garden. I mean, I don't understand why we don't take more advantage of like sunny California. We can really take advantage, when you live in small spaces, having your teenager go to the roof garden, it can really cool down. There were studies about having little spaces like that, how it lowers violence in the house because you have a personal space that people can go to. So I think how using the roof for that, it opens a really important part that we should consider as matrix makers.
Yeah, and 25 years ago, they were doing urban studies of how to get communities to be closer together by getting rid of the front yard and or putting closer units closer together. I agree with you as far as children wise, because nowadays people don't want their kids running around the streets or going, everything's housed in one area. So it's a safer place for them to play and not out in, traffic and stuff. And the other thing to look into is also there was this author, Suzanne Suzanka. She developed this concept of getting rid of big mansions and focusing on quality material, spending the same amount of money, but making your home more of a home instead of a larger space. And I think this is a great opportunity to see how you can take it to the next level and refine that space, that small space, and really make it a home with a unique material, wood, like you said, make it any style you want, and make it more like a jewel like space. And yeah, so that's something to think about.
Awesome, John. Thank you. Let's throw it to Jerome to see if you have any thoughts.
I don't think Jerome's in with our call.
We have a phone number on here that
Oh, great.
I think might be. Jerome, if you are there, you're on mute. And if not, while we're getting that worked out, we could go to Eugene or Lynn for any thoughts as well.
I'm happy to pop in. Yeah, how interesting and fun to see. I also love the cooling towers, and I mean it's really interesting design. I'm curious actually how they work, and I mean I can imagine, but it would be wonderful have a little professional explanation of those. Also curious about how the rooftops can function as growing spaces. I love the idea, I love the concept. Makes me think of the Austrian artist and architect Friedensreich Hundertwasser,
Yep.
who's now passed away, and he put all kinds of gardens, and he even had sheep on top of downtown buildings and all this kind of stuff. I think the sheep didn't like it, but nonetheless, it was a wonderful kind of vision. But that also makes me think. I mean, like I say, love the idea, but love to hear a little more explanation about how so much food can actually be grown on those rooftops. So, any more comments on either of those would be interesting from my perspective.
Any of you want to answer?
For the wind towers, I think we went through the concept where heat rises and the cold goes under. So the wind tower was that purpose where we can have the windows open, or and then throughout the day, when it got really hot, the heat would rise through the wind tower and out through the top, and then it would keep a maintainable temperature in the inside. And also reminded me, I can't remember the exact name, but there's a mall, I believe it's in Africa, where it uses the same system where it has these tall structures, and the mall stays at a consistent temperature inside while the heat is being vented out through the top. So I think that was the concept of the wind tower.
Yeah, and then in the Middle East, where temperatures are very high, they use these wind towers for a long time. So basically the air naturally, whenever there's higher spaces, it naturally flows towards it. And then if you, another thing with this design is that we will rotate the houses where there's more air circulation naturally where it's coming from. And in terms of the garden, there's many ways to do the garden. You can do raised beds, and you just design it like if you were designing a second story. So the roof, the joist, right? The floor joist, you just expect it like if you were designing a second or a third story. So it doesn't add that much weight into the design. But you do need to be very careful with the water drainage, how you're gonna water and how you're gonna collect that water. So interesting enough, I think these are really good comments because we definitely studied all of that, and it would be nice to have a small diagram explaining those three things because we definitely thought about all of that.
And the heat lag.
Yeah,
of the wind tower operates on the heat lag of the materials as well as what was already mentioned, because the air that comes in might be warm, but it takes a while for it to get there. And in the morning, it takes a while for the cool to go away, so it continues to cool.
Yeah, the material too.
Well, fascinating. It's John, I think, mentioned the idea of partnering with a fabrication company, which begs the question of kind of what are the next steps for this? Where could it go and what kinds of plans do you have for next step opportunities?
Well, thanks to Pando, that's why sometimes we stretch ourselves here, but I think having the opportunity to prepare for Pando and how you guys organize this platform, it helps us create now the deck that we can present to the city, to the mayor, even they have a housing competition at a national level. And then how could we create, that's why this is connected to the morning class, because we envision having eco labs in the neighborhood where we can actually facilitate these tiny houses and these ADUs. So the idea is that you bring the eco lab inside the neighborhood so you can actually design, build, maintain, and operate these urban interventions. And there's 27 urban interventions that create a holistic approach to a neighborhood. And the goal of LA Trade Tech is to develop these. Actually, there's 24 urban interventions. And the idea is that you will create these centers. But yeah, been working with some people that are interested. By the way, we already built these ADUs in Nicaragua. We built 24 of them. Two of our students from Nicaragua took this design and they built them. So, but it's not yet like a system. They're isolated. The whole idea here is to make it a system and to make it a methodology in the United States. So I'm hoping from this experience, we're going to have something more solid as a deck or as a business plan to bring it to the next level.
Wow, because you already have prototypes. That's fascinating. Lynn.
Yeah, no, I'd love to see what was done in Nicaragua. I think that's very exciting to get it to that step. And I hope you can share that at some point. I'm just curious. I mean, you actually answered part of my questions with the Eco Lab, reference. But do you anticipate that you would be having the ADUs being modular? Would you have different designs that someone could go in and say, I want to build an ADU? And they're able to pick that design and pick those materials that you would have available? Or would they, so like, one was more Adobe looking and others had different kinds of walls and windows. Would that be all part of the project, identifying which materials, could be used at or available at a price point that makes it affordable for an ADU?
No, great question. And that's why it's connected. Even if it's not the entire Eco Lab, we see these tiny houses, ADU and multi-unit existing in a studio space. And we're also developing with augmented reality and virtual reality, because you can be anywhere and say, I'm going to shop for the house. And then once you like the layout, now I'm going to shop for the materials. And once you like the materials, now I want to walk through it. So it will be a whole, and then you can say, well, you know what? Maybe I don't use stone, maybe I use wood. And then real time being able to drag and drop, and that's the technology we're developing, that you can just enter into this Eco Lab or a studio where you will be able to customize the ADU based on cost, based on taste, based on orientation, and make it very scientifically. And again, something else before I forget, we don't have prerequisites at Trade Tech. Some of these students were learning 4 different softwares, very sophisticated, very expensive softwares. And, I have Victor and Alan here too. First semester, they learn Blueprint, they learn Rhino, it's pretty incredible that these tools now are available to the community. And I think that's something to really, the same. Selena knew a little bit more about it, but also, if anything, nobody's been here more than 2 years. So it's quite incredible what they can learn, associate, and even co-create with us. And I think that's extremely remarkable.
If I could add one more thing, I think this ADU kind of shows that it doesn't matter like the knowledge you have or what skills you have, the pieces are easy to assemble and you can customize it to however you like. You don't have to stick to the parties we developed. It's just like each one of us, we were given a template and then we created our own. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
And it took us 5 years. We've been working on this for 5 years. So every time the semester moves the needle a little bit more. So we create tutorials, we create templates. So the next step, my goal is to have all the 17 urban interventions kind of like DIY for the 15-minute walk. So that's the overall. And I think once the students know that mission, right, and they're part of it, I think that's what engages them very quickly.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's really that challenge that everybody cares about, the mission, right? And then whatever it takes to learn how to do that, it's so much more inspiring than doing it without a mission or project like this. So I think that really shows. Do we have
So,
any? Yeah, Eugene, did you have a comment?
Well, yeah, one other question, which this begs is how far is the system that you built, how far is it designed to take a project like this? Because once you have a general concept of what you want for an ADU, then typically it would go to the architect, and then it's quite a process to get final plans that actually can get approved in the city. Do you see this? So how far on that preparation process can a system like this go? Or or is it designed to give a general concept then to a professional architect and engineering team and what have you, who then get this ready to go so they're still needed? Or is your vision that you really want to do it all through this system and be able to get it approved by the city
It's
through
a
this
great
system
question.
alone?
Great question, because every semester we move it even more and more. Eventually, we're gonna have all the electrical, all the plumbing, all the foundation. But all these projects are completely accurate. They're completely built to scale. I even have Joshua here that we have all the framing models, like also the studs. We have all the estimating for them. So we could do it from here. Of course, I will need more resources and somebody internally, but I would say it's 25% construction documents. They are ready for you to be sent to the contractor, the electrician, the mechanical, for them to add their part. So in the process of architecture, you usually develop very detailed design development. They're 100% completed design development and 25% on their construction documents. So they're pretty close to construction.
Fascinating.
It is fascinating. And what is very interesting, when we went to the Masonry Summit, of course, there's tons of people selling masonry, recyclable wood, all these type of materials. So when you have a template, and I think it's important, we should have also mentioned this, when you have a template like this, nowadays you have your BIM, and then you go to the manufacturer and they have their wall assemblies already in BIM. So you can drag and drop them into your model. So if you have these type of windows, they have the BIM models and you drag and drop. But that's why there's so many jobs, because all these manufacturers, they need to develop their objects so they can be drag and drop into the architectural model. And that kind of interoperability is the challenge in industry, that you can do the drag and drop. And it's not only the model, but the specs and the green and the quantification and the high performance. So this can be a model to accelerate. That's why everybody gets, and it's, why does it take so long? Because you got to do all these steps. So if we could at least cut 50%, like this methodology could cut 50% of the time and it still allow the owner to be the designer. So that's what I think this methodology still needs a lot of chewing and massaging to express what we have developed here. But I was ready to share it with Pando because for what you're providing right now, it helps us grow tremendously.
So, Marcelo, what is the specifications on the lot size that these would fit into, or do they vary according to the location that you would design it for?
No, great question, because we have a carpentry program right here, and it's pretty small what you need. And then I had another student that they're doing it in the desert. They're also developing tiny houses. So I would say you can build all these prefabricated in a 40 by 40, basically 2 garages. You can
Mhm.
prefabricate it. Yeah, you can do a lot of the prefabrication, a lot of the walls, a lot of the design, a lot of the teaching. So the idea is that you can bring this any part in the world, where you can deploy these these models.
I'm interested about the prototypes in Nicaragua. I've stayed up a little bit on what you're doing, but I didn't realize that. What did you learn from those
That
prototypes? Also, how many are there down there, the
I
prototypes?
think, and they just text me yesterday, because basically it was one of my students and his uncle, and it was my student that took whatever we did in class, and they built it from what we did in class. So
Wow.
that's how ready it was. And this is like 3 years ago. The project, as I said, every semester I move it 20%, 20 for 5 years. So we started doing all the reason they look so beautiful. Can you pass me some of the, is because these geometries are found from nature, is when I did my research at NASA. So these geometries, that's why they're so beautiful, because they're patterns that are found in nature. So they're not random geometries, they're very mathematical. So we've been studying these for a long time. That's why they click so well together. So it took us, they're really beautiful. And these are all the geometries that you find on a cell, you find on the human body, you find on a flower, you find on the sky. So when we as humans, when they say nature-driven design, is like, what about if we design like nature? So all these houses at its essence is very mathematical. They follow those formulas from nature.
I'd love to see pictures of a prototype in Nicaragua. That'd be wonderful to include in the presentation
Yes,
somewhere.
yes,
You know, it's
yeah.
fascinating. I mean, it's hard to move anything to a prototype,
Yeah.
and the fact that you've been able to, and I love the idea that a student just simply took it and said, "I'm going to build this,"
And
and went there and built it.
yeah, that's my goal, that they come to school 2 years, they get at least 4 certifications, BIM, CAD, GIS. That's what the foundation, the Annenberg Foundation will cover. They get, that was given to Pando projects recently. Well, it's on the works, but it will be for the students to get certified, but also to walk with a set of construction documents that say, oh, my aunt has space, let's do a tiny house. And they come as investors because they bring the set of construction documents. Because I don't know if you know, nobody can lend you money if you don't have the drawings. So how can they pay an architect for the drawings if they don't have the money from the bank? So there's a lot of people that have properties, but they don't have the $10,000 to give it to an architect. But if the student comes like, ooh, I have a set of construction documents, then the bank can lend the money and then they can be the ADU. But it used to be, I don't know, everything's changing so fast, but the bank always asks you to lend you money for construction. They want you to have at least a set of drawings. But how are you going to pay those sets of drawings? So I think this could really break something that, as far as I know, this is how things are working today, even today.
I mean, it sounds like they get to go to school and then they can get a job and a house.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good return right there.
Right, exactly. That's the goal.
Yeah, that's great. Are there any last comments? This was a great discussion. If not, I would love to thank our respondent John, as well as Lynn and Eugene for jumping in with some great questions. Thank you to Marcella and the LATTC team. Always really amazing work, and this really is pushing the needle even more. I'm super eager to check in on how this goes and see where you're at next year with it as well. Our next premiere event is with Pepperdine University. It's in about 30 minutes at 11:30 a.m. and that's when we'll be hearing from their team. For now, I want to say thank you to everyone for joining us, and Pando on.